So I'll defer that to you. I think just, because it's Jerry Jones and it's spite, and especially like, Dak is our guy, and essentially like I paid him the bag, because I paid the wrong person first, and I had to bring him back, not on a franchise tag after he essentially broke his leg for me. I have to make Dak the guy. So I think Dak is going to be the guy by default because of the contract situation. I mean, we have Jerry Jones that wouldn't even get rid of Ezekiel Elliott because of the contract situation, when clearly Tony Pollard is the better running back in that backfield for that offense. But Ezekiel Elliott somehow is taking carries away from Tony Pollard, and now you're going to have to live with Ezekiel Elliott, barring that, Jerry Jones comes to his senses and realizes that he is essentially the best years are behind him type of situation. But there really isn't anyone else out there, and I don't think he's going to spend for Saquon Barkley, and maybe he'll get Kareem Hunt in his place. But Zeke is the guy. I think they're going to have to live with Dak Prescott in that situation too because of the contract. I'm surprised I didn't see any, yahoos on Dallas Fort Worth radio saying they should just get rid of Dak Prescott and go back with Cooper Rush and have him just game manage the football games for 18 weeks essentially. But I think Dak's the guy. I don't know how much of it. Clearly, the thumb, in my opinion, I think the thumb was part of it. I'm not going to have that be the carte blanche excuse for everything that happened leading up to this postseason. I mean, we talked about it last week where I believe I said straight up, like, yeah, Dak had a great game. Was it Dak's thumb finally feeling better, or was it the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just that god-awful? Yeah. I'm leaning more towards Tampa Bay being that god-awful, and we saw that to fruition against the 49ers. But long-winded answer, I think Dak, by default, because of the contract and Jerry Jones's pride, is going to be the guy.
Well, let me ask you this question in a different way then. Do you think, contract aside, is he the guy? Like, skill-wise, is he the guy?
Oh, skill-wise? The way I comp Dak Prescott right now is essentially the Kirk Cousins category. Like, he'll get you to the playoffs, he'll have flashes of brilliance, but when the games matter, or in Kirk Cousins' case, any game that's in prime time or 4 o'clock, when they essentially are island games, you're going to wilt like, like a flower that is not getting any water. And I think that's a fair comp. And unfortunately, Jay, I think that might be the ceiling for Dak Prescott is a Kirk Cousins-esque type of quarterback tier, which sucks. If it was, if contract aside and, hey, you can get like a decent college quarterback in the late 20s, and have him potentially sit for a year, then maybe I could buy that. But it's just Jerry Jones's ego will not let him bench Dak Prescott.
Which is sad because clearly we all can see by now we're in year, 8, 9 of Dak Prescott's career? He's not the guy. And I hate it more than anything when he's not the guy, but you still keep him for the dumbest reasons possible, whether it's contract situation or he's still young or we still got to invest more time into him. We put a first rounder into him. To this day, one of the best decisions I've seen an organization make is getting rid of Josh Rosen in year 1. The Arizona Cardinals saw how bad he was and they moved on. And I'm not saying that Dak Prescott's that bad. What I'm trying to say is these teams fall in love with the player and then they won't move off of him. Like, no matter how much new information they get, like, they're not able to move off of him. And for me, Dak Prescott, like, I think he's just an above average quarterback. He's a classic case of, when everything is good around him and the running backs are growing great and Zeke is crushing it and Pollard's crushing it and CeeDee's getting wide open and the protection's there. He's great. I mean, he looks like he's a top 5 quarterback. But the problem is that's very rarely the case in the NFL. I mean, that's 4-5% of the time is going to be, everything's going to be perfect. So I think if Jerry truly wants to win another Super Bowl before he meets his maker, then I think he's going to have to consider his quarterback. And I think Dak is just not it, man. I think what they might have to do is the drafting might not work out just because they're really, they're deep in the first round, so the best quarterbacks probably won't be there. They might have to start looking at other quarterbacks they can swing a trade for. We're gonna talk about one here soon in Aaron Rodgers, but if I'm Jerry, man, shit. I'd rather have 3 years of Aaron Rodgers than Dak Prescott. At least, I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers had a step back this year, but at least Aaron Rodgers the last couple of years was the MVP. We've never seen Dak play up to that level of MVP standard 2 years in a row.